RGE here with a look at SimCity. So let's just jump right on in. Graphically, this game, it looks okay on higher settings, but it's not what I would call pretty. It isn't really stylized in a way that hides fidelity issues, but it's not really as high fidelity as, well, other city builders in the genre like Cities XL or Tropico or Anno. Really, anything where you're building cities, like, it looks a little bit dated, and their justification for this makes sense. It's so it will run on, well, older PCs, because they want to sell this to the largest possible audience. But they could have stylized it more, they could have made higher specs look better, and just made more detailed graphics options. Not that the ones that are there aren't detailed. It's just that the excuse that it needs to run on multiple machines is kind of lazy. It just isn't that pretty. Now, this is probably going to be a weird review because I'm going to be comparing it a lot directly to Cities XL, because Cities XL is, well, the leading city builder game. Like, they're the most... SimCity and Cities XL are practically the same game, except that Cities XL Platinum came out a month earlier and is $30. So, all of the modernizations to the franchise are basically mechanics taken from Cities XL series. And, well, Cities XL Platinum is half the price. So, really, for a $60 game, what this means is for SimCity to be worth it, it has to be better than Cities XL in every possible aspect. Because they've basically ripped mechanics such as the online connected cities from Cities XL. And the thing about the online cities is that the execution is terrible. Or at least, part of the execution is terrible. What I will give them is that the cross-city integration is probably smoother than Cities XL and any other game in the genre. I like that I can send trucks between cities. It's a lot more integral to the game. And the transition between cities is just a lot smoother than the transition of cities in Cities XL. But Cities XL manages for me to, you know, connect cities online without having the always online DRM and without 45 megabytes an hour of upload data, because somehow that makes sense. This game eats through goddamn bandwidth. It's astonishingly high for a game. They say the bandwidth consumption is partially because the game offloads workloads to the servers. I'd assume that would be for all the cross-city stuff. But there's no justification for this crap. Really, it's just that EA wanted to use a draconian DRM that is completely anti-consumer. Seriously, you sit in queues for more than 20 minutes to play a single-player goddamn game. And you can change servers to one that's available, but your cities don't transfer between the servers. It's infuriating. Why can't I move my cities? Oh yeah, because all my save data is online. Retarded. Completely unnecessary. Completely unfair to the consumer. It has ruined... I've spent more time sitting in queues trying to play this goddamn game than I have played the goddamn game. It's retarded. Yeah, these issues will go away when we get further away from launch, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't fix right now. It doesn't fix that this always online DRM crap is entirely anti-consumer and entirely unnecessary. Stop it. Now, paired with not being able to play the damn game, random rollbacks. Sometimes your goddamn city data is just lost because the servers are overloaded. It's retarded. Seriously, this launch isn't as bad as the Diablo 3 launch, but it's really, really close. So frustrating. Now on to my next favorite thing. Day 1 DLC. Day 1 DLC. Lots of Day 1 DLC. So, the Heroes and Villains pack is just 2 buildings, but they add a hero and a supervillain to your city if you build the corresponding buildings. It's cool. And it's game-changing. But then you also have the French, German, and English packs, if you got the deluxe edition. And they add better police stations at the same cost as the regular one. They add a better train system, and they add a better bus depot. buildings that people would actually want to have with gameplay modifications, and they aren't just cosmetic. Can you get more anti-consumer, EA? This is like the worst crap. They do this all the time. Always with the day one DLC. It's retarded. Why do people put up with this? Why do people buy games that have this kind of pre-order bonuses? This isn't how you do pre-order bonuses. Can we stop it and do it properly? Just cosmetics. Just like free-to-play. Except probably even easier to convince people into doing. Damn it, EA. Let's just move on to the actual gameplay. So, they made the connected cities in this game mandatory. You can't build a megalopolis. You'll need to build 3 or 4 cities so you can have all of the necessary utilities and services for your city. Max's justification is performance. Has to be able to run on all kinds of old crappy computers. I don't accept this. They hurt gameplay to guarantee performance on weaker computers. The thing is that the recommended specs for SimCity and Cities XL Platinum, which only came out a month ago, are pretty much the same. They barely change at all. And Cities XL has huge play areas for building cities. You can build megalopolises in there because they give you enough real estate. They don't do that in SimCity. The decision to stop players from making megalopolises isn't a game performance issue, it's a distinct design decision that I don't agree with. Stop trying to get me to play games with other people. I hate other people. More seriously though, if you aren't playing with friends, you need to run the entire region by yourself anyways. If you have other people who aren't coordinating with you in constructing all the cities in the region, then the other players can, well, screw you over. They can leak criminals into their city. If you're downwind of the other cities, they can just build a bunch of heavy air polluting buildings which could kill your city's air quality and approval rating. They could be selling you water or electricity and just shut it all off one day. I mean, the same stuff can happen with Cities XL, but you can build a megalopolis to avoid it. And it doesn't have always online DRM. It's... Ugh. Just by having large city sizes basically in this game, you could fix this game for people who are only going to be playing by themselves, which I think the majority of people will be. Because, well, I don't want to play with other people I don't know. And city builders aren't really a multiplayer experience. Now, it isn't really that managing 3 or 4 cities at once in SimCity is hard. It's just more inconvenient and not as fun. At least Maxis said they're looking at expanding city sizes in the future, but once again, that doesn't fix right now. So, that's a little upsetting. Now, the road tools are improved over previous SimCity games, but you know, it's been a decade. The road tools, though, aren't as good as Cities XL's. The curved roads are sloppy. There's no way to guarantee 90-degree curves with an equal distance for changes in the x-axis and the y-axis of the curve, which is something I would like to see. And the guides for maximizing density clutter the screen because it doesn't choose optimal guide, but rather shows all the guidelines generated by all the roads you've placed. Sometimes I can't even make perfect 90-degree angled roads because of all the damn guides. It's ridiculous. Curved roads don't also follow along curved guides, so I can't make perfect parallel curved roads, which is stupid, because this should be something that's easy to implement. I mean, I want perfect roads in my city. I know that real cities don't have perfect roads, but god damn it, my simulated one will. Now, the other issue with the roads is that you can't fix traffic without increasing population density. You need to increase the density of the roads. You need to go from low, medium to high streets and low, medium to high avenues. The thing is that anything that's attached to those roads will automatically upgrade in density. So you can start getting huge apartment complexes and huge shopping centers built along roads that you upgraded, which then creates more traffic on those roads because there's more people using them. Even though I was just trying to fix simple traffic problems. The thing is that In Cities XL, which has a pretty similar mechanic, you have direct control over building densities. They don't automatically upgrade, which gives you more control over the city. But you don't have that in SimCity, so you start automatically upgrading the densities, which ends up generating more traffic. Traffic that you didn't want in the first place. Ugh. Why can't you just give players full control over everything so that they can make it exactly how they want? It's a city simulator. Why can't I choose what buildings are in my city? Zoning, just like the road tool, has obviously been improved, but it isn't as good as Cities XL's. You can't just place down blocks of residential and have small residential roads placed down around it automatically. There is no way to know if you've left enough space between roads to fit the desired buildings. The only thing that's really good is the modular buildings. I like the idea of upgrading buildings and expanding them as the city expands. Things like your police station and your fire department. But they don't tell you where the basically expansion points are on these buildings before you place them down, at least not well enough. And so you're going to constantly be deleting buildings to place upgrades down for your police stations and such. So they could have implemented this way, way better. Instead, they give us an interesting, but obviously not complete, I guess, tool. The real problem in this game is that there's no way that I can just look at the map and know where I want to place everything. You're left constantly rebuilding things in order to fit the desired buildings, and in order to basically get the perfect road placements. Because, like I said, there's no way to know if you've left enough space between the roads until you go to place down stuff, or until buildings go to upgrade. It's incredibly frustrating. The building options kind of suck. There are actually quite a few, but because of limited resources and space, they aren't all going to be available. Essentially, what you can build is restricted because of city sizes. Once again, we're back at city sizes. I'm sure that they'll improve the building selection later in this game's life because of EA's big push for microtransactions in all their games, but I don't have hundreds of dollars to invest in buildings. My biggest fear is that they're going to nickel and dime me to death like they do with The Sims. I guess I've only really got one thing left to talk about, and it's parks. Parks in SimCity work just like all the other buildings. They need road snap points, and they're predetermined sizes. In Cities XL, I can place small parks and other things like hot dog carts or newsstands in the tiniest spaces between buildings. In SimCity, though, I pretty much always end up having small gaps or grass between buildings in the middle of my downtown core, and I can't fit parks and plazas in there because they're too big. I have to delete buildings. It's ugly. Let me use up all the damn space. There is no excuse for not being able to put, like, a tiny little plaza or walkway between two gigantic shopping centers. It's just stupid. I hate the park system. And it's totally necessary to be placing down parks in order to increase the wealth of the region. So, you're constantly placing parks, but you can't make good-looking parks, essentially, because, well, the park tool kind of sucks, because they're just buildings. They're not really a park tool. Just overall, I mean, it's really disappointing that every time that I'm going to do something in SimCity, I'm like, well, this has obviously been improved, but someone's already done it better in the Cities series. SimCity could be a good game. I mean, it is a good game. But the just okay road and zoning tools and the weak selection of buildings hurt the game overall. And then all this crap with the always online DRM has completely killed it for me. If you could actually play the game when you want to play the game, like right now, when I'm recording this, because, well, the servers are down and overloaded, so I can't play it. If you could just play the game when you wanted to play it, the game would be good. But you can't. So, it's terrible. Don't buy SimCity. It's awful. SimCity 4 with some mods is a way better game than this reboot, and Cities XL or Tropico 4 are way better games than this. I mean, Tropical 4 is better just because you have more building options and you can fit more people in, even though you have roughly the same region size. Cities XL is awesome because you can build megalopolises and you have the connected cities. There's no way I can recommend this game to anyone. I mean, it's $60 and $100 if you get it with all the DLC crap. When really you look at a game like Tropico 4 or Cities XL Platinum, which is superior in pretty much every single way, it's only $30. Just do me a favor and don't buy this game. It's terrible. What a disappointment. I've been RGE, and this has been a look at SimCity. Remember to rate, comment, sub, and such.